Hey everybody, I hope I am on and I hope you guys can see me. Someone give me a thumbs up or something and say you can hear me and stuff. I see there are
Why
folks
is
on the
Glenn
line.
Youngkin running
Ooh,
for governor?
okay. Ooh, what that? All right. So I think it is working and stuff because I have my MacBook here on my left and it looks like it is working. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay. Look, I know I'm on. Okay. All right. I'm not going to worry about this right now. Let me put this on the side over here. So let me see who we have. We do have some people on here. Let me just scoop this little table over here. I tell you, I love this table because it has the wheels and it works really great for me. It's a little crafting table that I have on the side over here. Okay, cool. All right. So let's see. We got Lacey and Sassy and Mary. Hey, Miss, I know I'm gonna screw up your name, Risa or Visi. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Karen. Tracy D. I see Robin. Hey, Jazz, Barb, Jenna D, Gail, Janie. How are you guys? So, hey, guys, if you're new here, hello. Welcome. My name is Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts, and welcome to Embroidery Happy Hour. Every Friday at 8 o'clock, I try to explore a new topic in the area of sewing and embroidery. And I see people are really going in. Hey, Crafty Puerto Rican. You are making some great shirts. I have been looking at your new shirts. They are gorgeous. I love it. And so I can see you making sales on that. Hey, Eartha, how are you? How you doing? Hey, Angela. Hey, Iris. Hey, Barb. And if you guys haven't seen the Crafty Puerto Rican shirts, I mean, she's has made some really gorgeous shirts. I can see that she is really enjoying that sublimation printer. So she has you really should check out her Etsy shop. She got some really nice shirts out there. Hey, Iris, Barb. I see Tracy. Oh, it's Saturday morning here. Oh my God. Okay, well, it's Friday night here. And stuff. Well, good morning to you. Okay. So, hey guys, just some administration side things that I want to tell you guys up front. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and hope you like what you see. I try to do these happy hours every Friday at 8 o'clock to try to share information with folks that are really into sewing and embroidery. If you're new, please subscribe, and I hope you like what you see and hit that like button. Also, for those that are part of our Facebook group, and if you don't know about it, you're welcome to join it. We have a Facebook group that's called Embroidery Happy Hour Adventures, and it's a great group. It's where we like to show off our projects and like to ask questions about how to do things, and we help each other out. Also, I am really a advocate for helping other small business owners and stuff like that. So if you had just started your Etsy shop, or even if you started your own YouTube channel, post it out there. Okay. I mean, I love helping other people. And that's the kind of community that I really want us to build. In the Facebook group also, this year we started a gift exchange. Okay, so to sign up for the gift exchange, there's only 2 days left. It's on it's elster.com, and the link is on our Facebook group. If you want to join, please do. It should be a lot of fun. I believe the last time I checked, and it has been like about a day or two, I think we have about 24 people that are signed up, which that's pretty exciting. The way that this gift exchange is going to work is you go on Esther.com and you go ahead and you sign up. Now on the 17th, and I'm going to wait till the end of the 17th, and I'm going to press the button, and what's going to happen is the system is going to scramble all of us up, and everyone's going to have somebody, they're going to be assigned to someone where they have to give out a gift. And what it is I want everyone to, like, we have been sewing, we have been embroidering, we have been doing all kinds of craft sublimation and all that kind of stuff. Use those skills. I mean, I think that it's a great opportunity for us to give gifts to each other, because we have been supporting each other throughout the year, helping each other and stuff. So I think that it would be a lot of fun to, give each other something. And as crafters, as I said last week, we're always used to giving things to other people because, as a crafter, you're naturally so used to creating things. And when you create things, you create a lot of personalized gifts and stuff, and you give them away to people. And it'll be a really nice thing to have a fellow crafter give something to you, that was made specially for you. So I think that that would be like really fun and really cool. And I'm kind of like hoping that, at the end of it, people can post pictures of the nice gifts that they received and stuff. And I think that would be like really, really cool. So, I just wanted to, tell everybody out there, that if you're part of the Facebook group, that's Happy Hour Adventures, Happy Hour Adventures. If you're part of that Facebook group, you'll see the link on there. And then you're welcome to sign up. It's not mandatory or anything like that. The budget is $15. So what it is, whatever materials you use, try not to go over that 15, but it's just so that you can make something for someone. Okay. So I thought that would be a lot of fun. It'd be something that everybody can share and enjoy and stuff. So tonight's topic, okay, and I will, if you guys have questions also about embroidery or sewing or anything like that, post it in the chat, okay, because I'm going to hit the topic now about fonts, okay, and I'm also going to turn it over to a screen because I use Embroidery Essentials. And one of the things that I want to do is I want to show you some of the common things that I get asked about fonts, and I also want to share some of the knowledge that I learned about fonts, especially when you do small fonts, because small fonts can be very, very, very tricky. And I did some research on that because I have a girlfriend of mine who is launching her own business, and I am going to be I'm right now in the process of getting her logo digitized. And I know that she wants some shirts. And of course, the logo is going to have some small fonts. So I want to make sure that the fonts come out perfect. So I was doing all the research on, how to do the small fonts. Of course, I'm going to do some test stitches and everything like that. But I wanted to share some of the things that I learned when I was researching about small fonts, because that can be pretty tricky. The big fonts are always, easy. When you do 1 inch and higher, it's always kind of easy because it's on a larger spread of your fabric, and the stitch lengths are kind of, are kind of long. So it does, it's really not that much of a big deal. But when you are getting to that small font, it can be kind of tricky. You end up with a lot of puckering. Sometimes you don't see the stitches and all that kind of stuff. So I found some 9 things that you need to do when you're doing the small fonts, okay? Because sometimes you may have a client that'll come to you with a shirt and they'll say, oh, I want a logo. And of course, you're not going to put a 2 or 3 inch lettering on the logo. That's not going to fit. You're going to need something that's really small. So let me jump right into this, okay? So what I am going to do is I am going to switch the screen, okay? And I am going to add this on there. And what I am going to do is I'm going to put myself in there a little bit over here, but I'm going to do this. And let me see if this works a little better. I think I need to minimize this. Let's see. And I think we're good. Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Cool. All right. I am showing you guys what I want you to see. All right, guys. Let's head over here. Okay. Now, as you guys know, I use Essential Brilliance. Okay. Did I say that right? I said it upside down, didn't I? Okay. In Brilliance, essentials is what I use. Okay. Now I do have the other modules that belong to Embrilliance, but when you are starting out, you really the one you should start out with, if Embrilliance is what you want to use, is Embrilliance Essentials. Okay. That is really the first one that you should invest in. After that, you know, as time goes on, you may want to go ahead and invest in some of the other ones. The other one module after in essentials, I usually kind of like tell people the best one really to buy after that is probably the enthusiast, and because I use that one really for the knockdown stitches. I'm going to show you what that is all about too. But let's talk about the right here in the essential portion, you know, about fonts. All right, so I'm going to hit the letter A, and as you can see right here, I have my ABC. Now, there's a couple of things that I really want folks to know. If you're going to use fonts and you have Embrilliance, okay, when you buy your fonts, always try to make sure that you have BX fonts. The reason why I say that is because you can actually drop the fonts into the software, and then what will happen is if you look right over here where it has the text, and I have this little drop down box, you'll see all the fonts that you went ahead and you installed on your machine. Okay, and that makes it so much easier, because what will happen is, let's say I'm going to pick I don't know, I'll just pick one. Let's pick one that's kind of small. I guess this one is 2.5, and instead of ABCC, I can just go ahead and type in the box. Okay, I can put in my name and hit enter, and let me make this a little bigger so that way you can see the whole name. But as you can see, I can just type it in, hit enter, and then it actually shows everything on the software. So that is actually pretty neat. If you don't get the BX font, then what's going to happen is you won't be able to import the letters into the software. So you're going to have to do file open, look where that particular letter is, and each letter is its own particular file. So you're going to have to look for the letter J.pes, then add that in there, then add E.pes, and then another A.u, and so forth, right? And you're going to have to, for every letter in that word, you have to open up the font, the file. So, you know, it really makes it a lot easier if you use the BX, okay? Now, this particular file is called a sketch. It's like a sketch font. A lot of people are now getting into that, and I'm gonna tell you, these are beautiful fonts. And also and if you want to know where I got this, I actually got this from Etsy. I actually bought it from Etsy, and it's called Sketch Checkered. These are the ones with the small ones, but then if you want, you can also get the ones where it has the capital. And these are these right here, and this is the capital one. See, for some reason, I don't know why, but they just didn't sell the small letters and the large letters together. So, but it's fine, you know. So, you know, you can always just add it. But one of the things that I wanted to tell you guys about fonts, because I know that this is probably basic for a lot of you guys that are here, but for those that are new, you know, I wanted to share that there is something that I had said in the past where someone was kind of like, oh, you're right. You know, not every font works well with every word. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Let's delete this, okay? And I'm going to add a new font. Oh, it went from my old one, but that's okay. Let me pick a font here. And let me type my name, okay? Because one letter that is usually really kind of like hard to get like really pretty sometimes is the letter J. Okay, now if you look at this font in particular, and then look at the T's, in this one. Okay, now me personally, I don't like the T's in this particular font. Okay, but I want to show you there is a font that a lot of times I switch out. Let's see, hold on. I should have did this before meeting tonight, but you guys know me. I like to do everything raw, okay? Now, one of my very, very, very favorite fonts, which I always feel never goes wrong, is from Stitchtopia. Now, Stitchtopia.com is a very good site for you to go and look for fonts. Never have I purchased a font where I had a problem where it's stitched. I mean, it always stitched well. However, though, sometimes I'll buy the font and it doesn't look like I thought it would. Because of course, when everybody's selling fonts, they're always going to put the best way that the font looks, right? And then I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the Maya font, and of course it's small. This is the 1/2 inch. Let me go ahead. Let me do a 2 inch so you can see. All right. Now look at this. See how it has Jeanette. Now look at the J. The J kind of looks kind of like a upside down E, right? I'm not particularly fond of this J. So usually what I'll do is if I have a particular font that I really like this, I like the way that it kind of looks because it looks clean, right? Now, when I click on it, I want you guys to notice these little greens. Now, these little greens means if you click on that green, you can move that letter over. So see how sometimes the tail is a little bit off on the end? So you can like take letters and you can move them together, okay? But one of the things that I want to show you is, see how that J comes out? I don't like it. So what I usually do is I will just take out the J and I just have Jeanette, right? And then what I'll do is say, okay, I like this clean look, but I want a new J. So what you do is I add another J on it, you know, another text, put a J. Of course, this is the J that I don't want, okay? And then what I do is I look down all the other fonts and then I pick a J that I like. And I like this one. See? So I'll do this. Now let's say that I like this J, but I don't like the other side, right? So I can just go on the other side and then I can just select a different font. It doesn't have to be that one. This is called Sarah. Okay, kind of looks very similar to the one I had before. So let me see if I can just pick something that's just a little different. Here's Willow Springs. Not too crazy about Willow Springs. So as you can see, I sometimes buy a lot of fonts and then what happens is I don't like the way they look. Okay, this one's one of my favorite ones, which is the Sky, Mogilla Sky. My English is all like jacked up, okay? So anyway, as you can see, what I'll do is I'll move the J over here. Let's say I want to use this. I can, you know, I use this J from a different type of font, and then you just mix it in with another font for the rest of the word. Because sometimes you'll have one particular letter that didn't look right? And if that's the case, then what you do is just look at two separate fonts where you like that the letter looks like, and then what you do is you just mix them up. Just mix them up, okay? You don't have to use all the letters of that font set. Sometimes you can find a letter that looks better on one than the other. Another letter that I find is kind of difficult sometimes to get right is the W, right? Let me do the W here. See how this W comes out? This is pretty cute, right? But sometimes I'll look at other W's and I just don't like the way they look. Here's the Sarah W. See, sometimes it depends on what you're using it for. Sometimes this W will work, sometimes it won't. When I do the dinner napkins, it does not work because you got to remember when I do my dinner napkins, I usually am working within a frame. If I'm working within a frame, all this extra looping that's right in front of the W, that's just not going to work for it because it's going to take up a lot of the space in the frame of the dinner napkin, okay? And, to show you exactly what I mean, let me minimize this. And I'm going to try to, am I losing this? Instead of sharing your screen. Okay. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get this because this is always a challenge whenever I do StreamYard. It really is. So it's kind of like, okay. So I am trying here. Here we go. Here's my StreamYard. Okay, got it. All right, so I'm going to remove this. All right, I'm back. Sorry, guys. All right, so let me show you the dinner napkin. So when I'm talking about the font, okay, each of the fonts, sometimes, you know, they have these little world things right on the first letter, right? So it, like I said, it depends on, think about what it is that you're going to be embroidering it on. Now, if you have like a birthday shirt, sometimes people do like that little swerve thing on the first letter. But I do dinner napkins, okay? So the dinner napkins that I work on are like this. And they have a frame, right? So if I use that M that has that little swirl, what'll happen is that little swirl is going to take up a lot of space within the frame. So it's going to move that out. So for these types of things, stay away from those type of fonts. That's my advice, because what's going to happen is you're going to have that whirl, and by the time that whirl is over, man, you're already like at the edge of your frame. It's going to look tacky, trust me. Okay, so anyway, so you just have to kind of like play with the fonts. So I hope that what I showed you guys kind of made sense, but I just wanted to share with you that, you know, sometimes not all the letters in that particular font set looks good for everything. So sometimes you just gotta mix it up. Okay, you just have to mix it up and stuff like that. So if you don't like the first letter when you're doing the word, just take out that first letter, do the rest of the word, and if it's the way you like it, then print out, you know, do another font set for that first letter, and then just look for the font that looks well, and then you can just blend it together. Okay, so I mean, you know, there's no rule of thumb into this. You know, I mean, it's not a hardcore rule that you have to use the whole font. You know, so some people just, you know, sometimes don't think about that. Okay, now the other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys, let's talk about the small fonts, because the small fonts can be really funky, okay, when you are like embroidering, all right? Sometimes what'll happen is, you know, you're gonna have probably somebody will come to you and they'll say, hey, you know, I have I'm launching a business, or, you know, I got a golfing event or something like that. You know, a lot of people like the polo shirts for certain things, and they like to wear their polo shirts, and they want a logo on the side. Now, usually, you know, the logos, you know, when you have a polo shirt and you have a logo on the side, you're not talking about a big thing. So like I said before, you can't be doing 1 or 2 inch you know, lettering unless it's just initials or stuff like that. You really have to look at the logo and the company name and everything like that. So that way you have to really determine how small your font can be. Now, small fonts can be very, very tricky. The reason why it's tricky is because it is less stitches, but you also have to make sure you are using the right thread, and you also have to be using the right needle. Now, a lot of times when you're embroidering, you're using needle 7511, okay? And it's a ballpoint needle, okay? But it's a 7511 size, and you're usually using the thread that has a 40 weight, okay? Now, when you're doing small fonts, you need a thinner needle, you know, a needle that's more finer, and you also need a thinner thread. So the suggested weight for small fonts is 60. The suggested needle for small fonts, from what I found out, was a 70-10, okay, with a 60 needle thread. So let me tell you exactly what I found out when I did my research, okay? I found this pretty interesting, and I was kind of like, it all kind of really made sense. Okay, when you are embroidering small fonts usually go in like a small little area, right? So one of the things that they say is to increase your stabilizer. So let's say you do a shirt, and you usually use cutaway. If you use one sheet of cutaway when you're using a 7511 needle or a 40, you know, weight for your normal embroidery designs. If you're doing a small font for a logo, stuff like that, double up on the stabilizer. Use 2 sheets, don't use 1. Okay, because the thing is, you're embroidering on a small space. So you're going to have puckering. So you want to avoid the puckering. So what you do is double up on the stabilizer. Okay, that to me made very, very good sense. Then they said it's smaller, so you need to make sure you're using the right thread. So for number 2, they told me 90 weight for 4 millimeter and under, because it will come out cleaner. And I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. You need a thinner thread. Also, the size of the needle. Okay, think about it. You're using a thinner thread. If you change the weight of your needle, you're gonna change the number of. If you change the weight of the thread, you need to change the size of your needle to accommodate that thread weight. Okay, so the 60 is thinner, so you're gonna need a needle with a smaller eye. So they say use a 70-10 needle. Now, if you have a font that is 3 millimeter or smaller, they also said you can use a 65-9 needle. So I have a whole bunch of 65-9s. So I think that's what I'm going to be using on my friend's shirts when she comes in, so I can do the logo for her company shirts. So I think I'm going to be doing 65-9, and I'm going to be doing 2 sheets of cutaway stabilizer on her polo shirts. Also, if you have to use a washable topping, you should you always use that, because you don't want the stitches to go underneath the thread, because smaller fonts means that the size of your stitch is a lot smaller. It's not long. So so that you can make sure that those stitches are not sinking through, make sure that you use the washable soluble stabilizer. Okay, same thing like you would do on a towel. Okay, these little I got the big roll. Make sure you use this, okay, because if you don't want those stitches to sink in. Okay, now what else did they say? Okay, also another trick is they said that sometimes it's better to create a foundation for the text on that shirt. Now, what do they mean by this foundation? Okay, so we're going to scroll back. I'm going to add the screen back, because I want to show you this is where enthusiasts comes really handy. This is where we're talking about emboss files, and we're talking about knockdown stitches. Okay, now when they're talking about a foundation, they're talking about sometimes you can create a file, or you can stitch out a background. All right, that way it's a nice solid background. And then what happens is then you stitch on top of those other stitches on the background. So that way, what happens is the stitches don't really sink into your shirt, even if you're using the washable stabilizer. It'll stay up a little better. So let's go over here so that I can show you how I do knockdown stitches. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see, I got that in there, and I'm going to bring this back up, and let's see, I think you can see. Can you? Yeah, you can see. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to take this out. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my name here. All right, Jeanette. Oh, I don't like that font. I don't know why I got that one. You know what? I always stick to mine. I always love this this font. So I'm going to, let me make this a 2-inch so that way you guys can see it. Okay. So now I have this. So now let's say I want knockdown stitches on this. So what I would do is I would go under utility, and if you have enthusiasts, you'll have this, and then right under utility on the top, you're going to have something called add knockdown stitches. So as soon as I click on that, it's going to also give me, do I want bi-directional stitching, which means that stitching will go one way and then it'll go the other way. Okay, so I'm going to say okay, and then I'm going to hit that, and then look what happens. Okay, now I also want you to pay attention over to here. Here you have your underlay. Okay, so that's what they mean by the foundation. They're talking about the under, and then you have the actual letters that are on top. Okay, so you know, as you can see, I could probably move this, see, but see how it is. Okay, so that's the backing. So what will happen is this kind of creates a more solid background. All right, the backing, it creates a more solid background, so that way when these stitches get on, they actually lay on top of the stitches. Now I want to do the simulation so that you can see. Now see this right here, as you can see how the simulation is going, this is all background. So if you notice, it's like a fill. Okay, let me just keep going. And you see how it all goes? It's a fill. And then see, this is what they mean by bi-directional, okay? You saw how it went one way and then now it's sewing the other way. Okay? So it's a nice solid fill. So what's going to happen, right? Let me go back a little bit. This is your foundation. All right? So what's going to happen now is it's now, you know, moving forward. Now it actually stitches the text. And what it does is it stitches the text on top of the foundation, so it's more solid, okay? So you have less of an issue of puckering and all that kind of stuff. So then now, you know, the stitches is all going to be right on top of the actual background. Okay, see how that goes? So that helps a lot. So if you have something that's small, you add the knockdown stitches if you want. Okay, that's if you want, you don't have to, but it's an option. Okay, now I want to see if I can open this up. I know I have some embossed files that I have bought. Let me look at it. Let me look in my, if I can pop it up real quick so I can show you guys. I have bought some, and unfortunately I don't think I can find it. Oh man, that sucks. I should have looked for it before. All right, well, let me show you what embossed files are. Okay, let's go over here to Etsy. You can find anything on Etsy. Okay, embossed embroidery designs. There you go. Or embossed or whatever. Y'all know my English, okay? All right, so here, right on Etsy, you can find all different types of embossed files. This is really the same thing like knockdown stitches. The only thing is you're buying the frame, okay? So what will happen is you kind of like go through here, and you have people that buy that, you know, they sell different sets, okay? Like, you know, you can buy pretty sets like this one, or you can just buy the frames like this, right? So what will happen is the inside is filled, and then you just go ahead and you just type, you know, you create your file and you just type it in right in there. Okay, so let me see if I can go back and see if I can somehow find it. I'm hoping that I can find it pretty quick. I know that I had bought my embossed files. Man, I found them the other day too. Maybe it's in here and stuff. As you can see, my files got sloppy. And I know that some of you guys have asked about, hey, can I do a video on organizing my files? Well, I have to tell you guys, I mean, I organize it, and as you can see, it gets disorganized again. So, let me see, frames. Maybe it's under the name frames. Sometimes I forget what I named. There you go. Here's an embossed file. Okay, here we go. Let's add this one in. There you go. All right, so this is an embossed file, okay? And then in what you would do is you would buy these and stuff, And then what you do is just hit the thing and see how it adds the text right on it. So it's really the same kind of technique. Here's my name. Let me just make a nicer, that's too big. There you go. I'll just change the color of the name so that way it stands out a little more. There you go. All right, so see, it's really the same technique as when I added the knockdown stitches. All it is just a background, and these are really great because it helps you a lot, especially if you have material that's kind of difficult to work with and you don't want to deal with the puckering. This is perfect because it kind of creates that background, and then you go ahead and you can just embroider on top of that, and you don't have to worry about any of the puckering and stuff. Now, the only thing though where I would say this doesn't work is if somebody has their own logo and they may not want that type of framing around it, and they may not want the knockdown stitches. In those situations, you're just going to have to do without the knockdown and also these embossed files, because it's just not going to work for them. You know, it's not going to work for the customer. They're not going to like that. So, you know, just wanted to share this with you guys. And okay, here we go. Now I gotta look again to where is my StreamYard. There we go. Now I think I'm getting a little better. So now I remove that. So anyway, so this is just something that, you know, I just want you guys to understand. Does it matter that it has the lines up and down and across? It's just a preference, Wilma. That's all it is. It's just a preference. You know, some people like it where the lines go, you know, one way, and then some people like it when it goes one way and the other way. It's really just a preference. I've done it both, and they both work great and stuff. Okay. Now, oh, let me keep going down the list, okay? Because the last one I left off was on you know, walk by faith. It's Spanglish. Yeah, I talk Spanglish, hon. I'm Puerto Rican, you know. All right, so okay, washable. Okay, number 4 was the stabilizer. Let me talk to you about the 5. Oh no, we did talk about 5. 5 was creating the background and the foundation, and then we talked about the knockdown stitches, and we talked about the emboss. Okay, those are 2 options. All right. Now another thing that they also said is slow down the machine. Now, you know, the SC 1900 has 650 stitches per minute. Okay, when you're using you know, thread like metallic thread, you should slow down the machine to, I would say, what I usually do for my SC 1900 is I slow it down to 400 to 450. I would probably do the same thing with small fonts. Okay. And, you know, and this is the other thing too. When you want to embroider on small, you know, embroider small fonts, buy the set of the small fonts. I do not recommend that you take a 1 inch or a 1/2 inch and then try to shrink it down. What will happen is you kind of distort the design. Okay. So if you need to do something in small font, I would recommend going to like Stitchtopia. Stitchtopia is a very good place. They have small fonts there. And I would purchase a set of the small fonts that you need from there. That way you make sure that you have a very good quality design. That's what I would do. Okay. I don't recommend in shrinking them. Okay. Now, they talked about this, the slowing down the machine. They also says the stitch length, don't have it more than 1 millimeter. Now, because I am not a digitizer, okay, I don't really know about too much of how to figure out the stitch length and everything. So I leave that to the professionals because they're digitizers. I just like to do the embroidery part of it. I do know very little about it. I know the basics about digitizing, but I am just not one that goes out there and actually does the design. I like to hire somebody to do that for me. So that is why, because I know they say that you're not supposed to have it more than 1 millimeter. That's why my advice is always go out there and buy the set that is small font. Because when you do that, the digitizer that created that font set has already done all of that. Excuse me. They made sure that those stitches are in the right length so that way you can have a nice clean stitch. So, that's what, I recommend. Okay, so also they said use basic fonts. So to me, that means that you can't just go out and use any fonts that you see out there and shrink it and stuff. Like if you see a really beautiful script font and you want it, like the one that I kind of like using, I would not use that as a small font, because it's not designed that way. So to me, I just look at it as when they said use the basic, um, then don't, you know, I would just buy a set that's small font for the size that you need. If you try to redo it, you could end up with issues. I mean, you could try, but my whole thing too is if that's something that you want to do, then my recommendation in doing that is do a test stitch. Don't take your shirt and go ahead and just stitch on it and think everything's going to be fine. If you can find fabric that is very similar to the polo shirt or the shirt that you're trying to embroider on, then what I would do is I would go ahead and get a sample fabric and I would test that stitch out, okay? And I say I always tell people test stitch out all the time, okay? Even when you buy new designs and stuff like that, give it a test run because sometimes there are times when you're going to buy a design and it looks great, and then what's going to happen is you go and you try to put it on your product and then you find out that it was a horrible stitch. I mean, that happened to me when I was trying to do the baby blankets. I tried to skip my own advice where I talked about testing all your designs. I bought the file, and when I stitched out the elephant, there was a lot of spacing. That file, that design was not digitized well at all, and I had to reach out to the owner of the shop and say, hey, this is not good. Then she tried to fix it. It still wasn't good. I mean, she was nice enough that she returned my money, but I felt kind of like, man, I really like that design. I really would have preferred to have gotten a really good design, but it didn't work out that way, and it's okay. But sometimes it happens. So you just have to also, watch out. I mean, and usually a lot of times when I do have problems, and it's not that I want to say that designs on Etsy are bad. It's not that. But sometimes what happens is you have folks that just started to learn how to digitize. And what they do is they open up a shop and they're trying to sell their designs. But the thing is, sometimes they may have digitized it. Maybe they didn't test it, or they just tested it, but in a different size. And then they try to sell it in other sizes because sometimes they try to expand it and then it just doesn't work out. So, you just have to be careful. So my recommendations is whenever you're buying embroidery files from sites like Etsy and stuff like that, always look at their reviews and reputation and, recommendations from other people and stuff. Because you want to make sure that when you're buying these embroidery files, that you're buying a file that's really going to be solid. It's going to work well for you. Okay. So, let me see. It also, one of the things that they talked about, which I was kind of like, okay, that's really something for the digitizers. They said, use basic fonts. And then they said, make sure it says something about sheriffs. Sheriffs won't stitch clearly. Now, what you're talking about sheriffs is sometimes when you're looking at a big letter, right? You'll see the end. You'll see that like let's say the letter I. The top of the letter I will probably stitch out from top to bottom, right? All the way across. Then when it comes to the body of the letter I, it's going to stitch from left to right. Okay? So when you're doing small fonts, you want the stitches to always go the same direction. You don't want it to go up and down on part of the letter and then go the other way on the other half. So they call that like a sheriff and stuff. So they said always if you're working with a digitizer, always make sure that you let them know that you need it to be a small font, and that they should automatically know that the stitches need to be stitched out in the same exact direction. They can't be going up and down and then sideways. Okay, that's gonna really mess up the font. Okay, so they said that when they do that, that you're no longer going up and down and sideways, you're always going in one direction. You should have a lower stitch count. Okay, so smaller fonts should have a lower stitch count, and of course they should, because I mean they are smaller too. So anyway, but those were the ones. Now the last one they said was, they also said, make sure that when you're looking at the fonts and the design of anything small, that it has low density. Okay, which means of course a lower stitch count. Okay, if you have something with a very high stitch count, that's a lot of density. And you really have to pay attention about the type of fabric that you're using and stuff like that, because if you have something like a polo shirt and you're not stabilizing correctly, you could end up with a lot of puckering and all that kind of stuff, which is why sometimes I like to use the knockdown stitches and the emboss files, because what that does is it actually gives you a more solid place for you to stitch the letters on. But like I said, not all the time can you use those files. You sometimes, because sometimes if you're working on somebody's logo, they're not going to want like a big box and then their logo inside. I mean, you could try, but I know sometimes people don't like that kind of stuff. Oh, hey, Lucy Lou. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the super chat. I love that. So anyway, I really wanted to share that because small fonts, very, very popular, especially when you're doing shirts, and people always want that. And one of the things that I noticed too is, because I have a friend that reached out to me and I really have to work with her on this, is she wants some polo shirts for golfing. And my whole thing, she's looking at some designs, but some of the designs that I noticed that the last one she sent me, it looked like it had a high stitch count. So I'm gonna have to talk to her. But that's something too that when you talk to your oh, that's a super chat. Oh, thank you, Lucy. That's something also too that you have to like think about, when you're doing shirts for customers and stuff like that. Sometimes what happens is, and I said this in the past, remember, you're the expert in the embroidery. So you've been doing this for quite some time. Okay. So you know about the different fabrics, about the different weight of the thread, about what you can embroider and how to embroider it. And this is the other thing too, and I've always said that not everything in this world can be embroidered. All right, so there's going to be situations where somebody may come to you with some crazy product, and then they'll be like, hey, I want you to embroider this. Oh, thank you, Miss Woods. Thanks for the super chat. Not everybody's gonna have, you can't embroider everything. Like, let's say they come to you with a leather boot, a Timberland boot, and they say, I want you to embroider my initials on there. First of all, you got to look at your equipment. If you have a flatbed, that's going to be kind of hard to do. But if you have a multi-needle, you might be able to do that. But the thing is, you got to remember it's leather. You got to think of the material. You got to think about how hard it is. And, you're going to have to look at your needle and stuff like that. That's when you have to pull out your guide and say, okay, this is the type of material. This is the type of stabilizer I'm going to need. And if I had something hard like that, if I would do it, I would do it at such a slow speed that I think I'll be there for hours, because the needle will be going like this. Because I would be like, ooh, because I would be so afraid. I don't want to mess up my machine or anything like that, because you can't, you can mess up your machine. So, you got to remember that not everything can be embroidered. And one of the things that I tell people too is, this is how I do it. Okay. I have had people come to me also with certain things where the fabric is very, very delicate. Okay. I don't feel comfortable sometimes embroidering in something that delicate. And, first of all, there's certain things. First of all, I want to know, can I replace it if I mess it up? Okay. And I let them know up front. I let them know up front. I'm like, where did you get this from? Is this something that I can replace? If I can replace it and I feel kind of gutsy and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do it. I'll give it a shot. But I let them know right up front. I don't know about that material if I am comfortable enough to embroider on that. Okay. So don't, this is the thing. Don't ever feel pressure that you have to embroider or do something because a customer comes. You can always say no. You can always say no. Let someone else take that risk if you don't feel comfortable. Because the thing is, your reputation is very, very important, especially when it comes to this line of business. Okay. Because all you have to do is mess up one person, and those people talk. I said it last week. People talk and they will talk. Okay. So it's like you don't want that type of reputation. You want people to come out and say, damn, she's good. Okay. And I'd rather just be honest up front. And I'll just be like, nope, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Or nope, I won't touch it. I'm like, mm-mm. So and make sure you price yourself right also, okay? Because there are a lot of people out there that they don't understand what is involved in embroidery. Okay, they really do. They have this perception that you press a button and walk away, and oh, how wrong you are. There's a lot of skill that goes behind it. I mean, you got to hoop that baby right. You got to make sure you got the right needles and threads, the right colors. You got to learn how to work that machine inside out. And the thing is, you also need to learn how to correct errors that the machine makes. Okay, because sometimes I'll have the wrong color thread in there. I have to know how to really take out those stitches well. I have to make, or if I'm able to stitch over the wrong color, okay, because I've done that. And then sometimes you'll get a snag, you'll get nesting and all that kind of stuff. What happens when your bobbin runs out in the middle of the machine? I know for those that have the 1900, the SC 1900, that's a nightmare, especially when you're new. When you're new and you start embroidering, you're like, oh my God, this is nice, this is nice. And then you get that error, the bobbin's out. And then you're right smack in the middle and you have a hoop in the machine. I mean, that freaks you out. I mean, I remember what I did. I mean, I was like trying to lift it and everything to try to change the bobbin without taking the hoop out and all that kind of stuff, because you don't know. You just don't know. You're new. But this is a skill set that you have to really, really learn. Okay. So you got to really learn the machine. You got to learn how to handle the machine when things go wrong and stuff. And people don't know. They don't know about all this kind of stuff. So sometimes they just, they try to like, what's the word? Kind of like downplay it or, try to say, oh, like some people say, oh, how much is it to embroider something? And then I'll give them a price. They go, oh, I'll give you half. And I'm like, okay, go find somebody else to do it. Good luck. See you later. Bye. So it's just like, I'd be like, nope. I will not do that. My price is my price, and that's it. And hey, I'm not the only one in this world that embroiders. And if you could find somebody that'll do it for like nothing, let them do it for nothing. I'm like, no, my time is too valuable. So I'm just saying, don't let people, make you feel any different and stuff like that. So I'm going to start from the top because, like I said, it is 8:53, and let me tell you guys. Last week, I talked too much. I went way over my 9 o'clock, okay? And you guys hung in there with me, but I want to make sure that, I always like answer comments and all that kind of stuff. And I really appreciate all the super chat, guys, and stuff. That's like so awesome. Oh, hey, Wilma, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. And so you guys are awesome. And so, and I do have to pump out more videos. Okay, my mom's blanket, still working on it. Okay, because every time I'm like, okay, I'm ready to videotape to do it because I got the files ready, and that thing is still missing. It's still sitting there, and I have to get that blanket done. Okay, because I know she's right now. She's pissed off because she thinks that she, well, it was supposed to be her birthday gift, and now I'm just gonna give it to her for Christmas and stuff. So but it's all good. It'll be fine, and stuff. Hey, Angela. I see Iris, Barb. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Jamie. I'm embroidering oven mitts and pot holders at the moment. Oh, you go. And you know what's so funny? I just had, here we go. And you know what? These are Dollar Tree or dollar store, whatever. Get these. These are fantastic because you get to, if you have an SC 1900, easy to do. All you have to do is just take out the stitches from here, okay, and then you just resew it after you embroider it. So all you have to do is just take out the stitches, open it up, put it on your flatbed, and then you go ahead and you embroider it and put, you know, the person's names, kitchen, and all that kind of stuff. So it's funny that you mentioned the oven mitts and the pot holders, because I have them like right next to me. And then also another thing too, when we talk about the knockdown stitches, wanted to tell you guys, stockings, okay, Christmas is coming, Christmas stockings and stuff. This one is kind of like flesh, okay, so it doesn't have the fur. But you know, some people have the I think they're like the red ones with the white fur, and they're kind of like furry and stuff. When you are embroidering those with the fur on there, that is the perfect opportunity to use those embossed files and also the knockdown stitches. And this is another option for you guys, okay? Let's say you have Essential of Brilliance, right? Because, you know, stuff can get pricey, okay? So, you know, and I'm all about saving money and stuff. So let's say that, you know, you already spent money on Essentials and Brilliance, okay? Now, the Enthusiast is the module that gives you the capability to do the knockdown stitches. So let's say, you know, it's, you don't want to spend that money on that extra module, okay? Don't. What you do is go out there, and you saw on Etsy, they sell those embossed files. They're like $2.99. You can buy a whole set, okay? And use that. Just use that then. I mean, it's a square, a circle. They got some really cute frames, okay? You can reuse those files and stuff, and you can use that on stockings. You can do the squares on stockings and put the person's name on it. So it's just something to think about, okay? You know, because, you know, not everybody has all this, you know, money to be buying and all that stuff, because like I said, embroidering is expensive, okay? Ooh, gotta sit in this chair, right? Okay, embroidering is expensive, okay? I mean, I was talking to my sister because now she's thinking about investing in the SC 1900. And she was like, oh, I noticed on Amazon the price dropped. So I think it was like $992 and stuff. I paid $1,000, and I know some lucky folks out there paid about, like, I think 800 and stuff. So she's been watching the price. But you know, one of the things that I was telling her is that it's not just the machine. Now you got to get the stabilizer. Now you got to get the threads. Then you got to get the needles. I mean, it's a lot, okay? And stuff. And another thing I want to tell you guys: change those needles. 8 hours of embroidery, change them. Trust me, change them. It really will mess up your project if you do not change your needle. That is a must, because what happens is needles get dull. They get dull. So, and when they get dull, it's harder for the needle to get into your fabric, okay? And stretch. I was going to say stretch. Stitch correctly, okay? So, you know, I know this, you know, trust me, I'm just as frugal as everybody, okay? I'm cheap, okay? I don't like throwing stuff away, but you have to change those needles. So don't forget that, okay? And stuff. So, yeah, Jamie, I've been doing that too. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Stormy. Hey, Kid Station Co. Hey, Miss Miles. How are you? I didn't know about the group. I'm joining now. What's the name of the group again? Okay, Jamie, the Facebook group is called Embroidery Happy Hour Adventures. Okay, and if you join the group and stuff, you'll see we have a link if you're interested in joining the gift exchange and stuff. Hey Evelyn, how are you? Hey Crafty Puerto Rican Destiny. I graduated to a multi-needle machine, and I did my first project yesterday. Oh my God, that is so awesome and stuff. And I believe you got the Racoma too. So I'm hoping that you make videos on the Racoma, because I would love to see how you like that machine. And so there's just so many different embroidery machines out there. And I'll tell you, if there is, to me, it's a personal preference. You gotta find the machine that's right for you. To me, they're all good. You just gotta find one that that you like and you understand and stuff like that. So I know a lot of people do Rokoma. I know a lot of people do Melco. I like the brother. I really do like the brother. My reason for choosing a brother, it was I got a 6 needle and 10 needle. I like the 10 needle. When I was going to the 10 needle, I was looking at other brands too, but I decided to stick with Brother because they had that scanning capability, the snowman, and I love that. I mean, that has saved me so many times. So I really, really love that. Hey, Victoria. Hey, Gigi. How are you? Hey, Walk by Faith. Congratulations. Yep, she's got her YouTube channel, and I think she's growing too. It's hey, Renee. Hey, Miss Parker, how are you? Hey, Oz, join the group. I'm mad. I've been missing out. Jamie, don't be mad. You're going to catch up. Don't worry about it. And make sure you post your projects out there because we would love to see them. We're going to receive, are we going to receive an address to send the gift? Yes. Okay. With the gift exchange, okay, when we go ahead and we, you know, and I hit that button and you get paired off with somebody, you're going to have their name and you're going to have their mailing address. Okay. So also you will have the capability of sending that person a message anonymously because I don't think you will know who you got paired up with. So it's kind of like you have like a secret Santa. Okay. So, but you will know who you got paired up with and you'll also have the address so you'll know where to send the gift. Now, on the gift exchange, we want the gifts to be sent out no later than the 17th of December. I believe that's it. And it'll say it on the Fster and stuff. And I'll make sure I post it on the site as well. But we want the gifts to be sent out by a certain date because, you know, it gets crazy during the holidays. You know, UPS and all that because people are buying gifts, sending gifts, and all that kind of stuff. So we don't want people's gifts to get lost in the shuffle. So I want to try to see if everybody can like create something for the person they were assigned and send it way ahead of the time. So that way, by the time Christmas does come, we all have received something. Okay, and stuff. Hey, Miss Iris. Hey, oh, Lost Odo. Oh, back on. Oh, okay. Oh, man, okay, I hope you guys miss anything. Jeanette, could you explain a little regarding merging designs in Brilliance? I have the demo right now, but plan to update. Okay, Miss Parker. Yeah, okay. Now, merging designs in Brilliance is when you have two different designs and then you just want to merge them, okay? So let me do that real quick so that way I can show you. I'm going to add this in here and let me open up my stuff. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's pick up let's get two designs here, okay? Let me go through my little stash. I'm going to throw this out here because I want to show you. Now, let's open up a file. And I have lots of different files over here. All right, let's see. Hearts. Should I do hearts? Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to pick one that's pretty cool. Nope, that's just letters. Let me pick one, my kitchen designs. Boy, okay. All right. Okay, let's see. Hold on, I'm thinking. Merging design. All right. Christmas. All right. Let me do a coffee mug. All right, here's a coffee mug, right? All right. Here's a nice little coffee mug that I have right here, okay? So let's say that I have this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another file, and I'm going to ask for a heart or something. I'm going to go in here. I know I have some hearts. So let's say that I want a coffee mug, and I want to put a bunch of different hearts on the coffee mug, okay? Just give me a minute. I just want to find those hearts. There you go. There's some hearts. P.S. All right, I'm going to, let me get a small heart. Yeah, this is 2 by 2. All right. So here's the heart. Okay, so I'm going to right click on it. Let me highlight it, right click on it. I'm going to hit copy. Let's go back to the coffee mug. Now here I'm going to hit paste. All right, so here it is. Okay, so here I have my heart and then I have my coffee mug. So let's say that I want this to be here. So what I do is I would just drag it on top. Just drag it on top and that's it. It's that easy. Okay, now then what you're going to do is you hit file. When you go to save it, then it'll save it with the heart on top of the coffee mug. Now, a lot of times when I have a file where I take a design and I put it on top of another design, what you can do is you can do file, save as, and let me just save this because I want to see something. Usually they say that the stitches below it don't show up, but I'm like wondering. I usually just save it as, but I do know that there is some cleanup that you can do. And I'm trying to see over here where you can, and I don't think I know where to do it. That's okay. But let's just save it. Let's just save this as is, and let's see what happens. Okay, because I was watching a file, and this says new, I'm going to call it new design. Okay, and then I'm going to put it downloads. And I'm just going to save it there. Okay, now let's open up a new thing, and then I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to reopen that file. Okay, let's reopen that file. Let me call it new design. I know that's what I called it. It's not there. What happened? That's not good. No, I saved it. I'm not crazy, am I? Let me see. Yesterday was so far away. Okay, nope. Okay, that didn't work. Where did it go? Okay. All right, let's try this again. Because I still have it here. New design, file, save as, and I'm going to save it on my desktop this time. And it's new design, and I'm going to hit save. There you go. I'm back on my blank. I'm going to open it. I'm going to go to my desktop. And for some reason, it's not saving. There it is. There it is. Okay. So now I'm going to go to my PES file, and I'm going to open it. Okay. Now, my concern, yeah, and see, it didn't do that. Because, see, look at the stitch. And when I saw in Embrilliance, they said when you save it, and here I'm doing a simulation of the actual stitch out. See, now I don't know if you notice it, and it's probably not too clear, but I do see like a dentation in the stitches here. So I have a feeling that what's happening is it's skipping some of the stitches where the heart is supposed to be. That way, when it goes ahead and it starts to stitch the heart, it covers it up. Personally, what I would do in this situation, let me just change it back up. Let me get that out. What I would do in that situation, Miss Parker, in all honesty, I feel like the stitches behind the heart is kind of wasted stitches, right? So in those situations, when I have something that I merge on top, a lot of times if I have to do it on myself, that's how I would do it. But then I usually take that simple design and I send it over to a digitizer and I ask them, can you clean this up for me? That's usually what I do. Okay, so I hope that helps a little bit. Hey Christian, how are you? Hey Wilma. Hey Miss Woods. Please explain. Okay, Iris, I hope that helped a little bit. And I'm going to look more further into that and see if we can clean up those stitches underneath a lot better, because I would love to be able to do that myself. Because right now what I've been doing is when I merge my images and stuff, I always have somebody else do the cleanup for me. So, you know, Are these fonts or program good for all machines? Yes, they are, Wilma. Okay. All the fonts, as long as you know the fonts that I usually get, I of course each of them have different extensions. Okay, depending on the machine will depend on what kind of file you use. Okay, brother machines use PES. I think Vikings use HUS, which is HUS. And you know, all different types of embroidery machines have their own file format that they use. Okay, now if you use Embrilliance, the file format that you would like to buy when purchasing fonts is BX. Okay, and the reason why you use the BX is because you can import it in Embrilliance, and then you can easily type out your words, and you don't have to open each letter individually. So I hope that helps a little bit. Hey, Iris. All these Florida people, we really need to meet up in Florida one day, you know, and stuff. I know I'm going over there for Christmas, so I'll probably post it. So maybe we can all meet somewhere and stuff. Okay. Are you saying we can pick a letter from any other font that we purchase? Yes, Kid Station. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Because like let's say you have your word, right? But you don't like the way the W looks, but you know that you like the way the W looks in another font, right? If you know, just take the W out, take the W from the other font, just add it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Melina Sky is nice. Yes, well, I like that one too. The Stitchtopia Chavity is where the font has alternating colors. I would buy PES so that you could change the colors for each letter. Okay, but Sherry, let me show you something about that, okay? I understand what you're saying, but look at this. Okay, I'm going back to Embrilliance. I want to show you guys something, all right? Because I just want you guys to know you're not limited. Okay, let me get all this stuff out of here. Let's go back to let me start a new one. I want to show you this, okay? I hope you guys can still see me and stuff. I know I'm on a roll. Okay. All right. Now, let's say that let's look at any font. Okay, here's this font. All right, it's all one color. All right, now this is the thing that I want you guys to know. You can pick each letter, and you can change the color of each letter. Okay, like right now, look, I'm here. I want the J to stay blue. Now I like the E. Well, let me go over here to this side over here, and I'm gonna pick this, and I want it to be red. So now that's red. So let's go to this color over here. Okay, I'm at the A. Take this A, and I want it to be, oh, I don't know, orange. There you go. Now let me go to the N. Let me pick a color. I'm gonna pick a purple. You get the idea? Just click each one. Now I want green. Let's go to this T. Now I want gold. Let's go to this T. Okay, I'm gonna pick another color. Let's pick tangerine, and I'll leave this one blue. There you go. So you don't have to buy. You know, you can do that, and you can any font. Okay, let's do script. Okay, let's pick another font. Here's ABC. I'll leave the ABC. Okay, because my name's kind of long and stuff. We can be here forever. Okay, let me pick another font. Let's do script. Let's do a script font. One of the Stitchtopias, the ones that I like a lot. Okay, let's pick that. ABC. Okay. All right, let's just do Sam. Small name. Okay, take the S, change the color. Green. So I'm gonna click my A. I'm going to change that to blue. I'll take this, the M, and I'll change the color to purple. There you go. There you go. And I didn't have to pay for extra fonts. Didn't have to pay for extra fonts. There you go. So, you know, Sherry, don't, you know, Charity's a pretty font, but don't think that that is the only font where you can change the colors for each of the letters. You can do that. Okay. If there is another font out there besides that font that you like and love, and you want to see like different colors for each one, just pick every individual letter and just change it to whatever color you want and stuff. You know, so it's just something, you know, for you to know. So it's another trick, you know, that people do, you know, and stuff. Let me see. You can't center them. Wilma, okay. I don't know what you mean. Okay, what type of fabric used for the holiday dinner napkins? Oh, okay, holiday dinner. Well, okay. These are not I don't sew these. Miss Parker, I don't sew my own dinner napkins. What I do is I go and I buy the dinner napkins. And I do have the link on my Etsy shop. And these are 65% cotton, 35% polyester. And they are machine washable. So these are good fonts. See, these are my little samples. See how I messed up in the back? Yeah, couldn't save this one, but you know, like I said, when you do samples, okay, also use all the corners. See how I use the corners? This was another one that I didn't like the way this came out. I really didn't like this one. I mean, well, I should put it in my shop anyway, because just because I don't like it don't mean other people may like it. I mean, it is, you know, I mean, it was cute when I bought it, but I just, for some reason, it didn't pop at me when I embroidered it. So maybe I should put it on the shop. You never know. I mean, you know, I mean, like I said before, sometimes what you think is the cutest thing, and you go ahead and you stitch it out and you put it in your shop, nobody buys it. Then you go and you just put something simple that you're like, no big deal. And then everybody wants it. And you're like, wow, okay. So, you know, maybe I should put it on there. But when you're doing samples and stuff, especially if you want to do dinner napkins, you want to do samples, use all four corners. All you got to do is just fold it up and take a picture of the one that you want to show off. Okay. And stuff. So, if it's a changing colors, it will have instructions. Okay. Let me see. I have to call one Ella. Hola, beautiful. How are you doing? I mean, hey, Lucy Lou. Yep, I get the napkins on Amazon, and those are the ones that I embroider. Yeah. And the thing is, too, is I usually like to buy my own napkins, because the thing is, when I order these napkins, I know the fabric. I know the type of fabric. I've embroidered on these napkins before, so I know how to deal with this kind of stuff. When some people will come to you, they have very thin napkins and stuff. If the napkin is real thin, I sometimes don't feel very comfortable embroidering on it, because like I said, you know, fabric shift, you have to stabilize it a certain way. So it's kind of like, you know, I kind of like get kind of iffy on it and stuff. So, but like I said, when you don't feel comfortable doing something, don't do it. What about adjusting your pull comp and also, run edge underlay? Okay, the comp, yes. Bart, thanks for mentioning that. If, let's say you have a, let me add this in here. Okay, let's go back on here. All right. All right, now let's say I have this, right? Okay, I highlighted Jeanette, and I want to increase the comp of it, which means that you want to make this thicker, okay? Go under stitch right here, okay? And what I do is, usually the comp is 0, but I always increase it around a 2 or a 3. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but look, I'm going to keep going, and you notice how much thicker it gets. So I always usually increase it to a 2 to make it a little thicker. Now the underlay, I don't know if you're talking about, Barbara. I don't know if you're talking about, let me get back in here. I don't know if the underlay, I never done the underlay or run an edge underlay. That I have not done. I've always done the unboss and the knockdown stitches and stuff. I've always done that. On the stabilizer, which do you recommend? The smaller fonts. Okay. The stabilizer depends on what it is that you're doing, okay? If it is something like a shirt, like a polo shirt or something like that, I always use cutaway because I always have the rule of thumb that if you wear it, you don't tear it, okay? You got to remember, clothes go in the washing machine a lot. It goes in the washing machine, the dryer, and all that kind of stuff. A cutaway stabilizer stays there for the life of the shirt, okay? And it actually is, it's good that it's there because it helps all the stitches stay intact. So I always use cutaway. So if you're using smaller fonts, from what I read on here, it says to increase your stabilizer. So I would use 2 sheets of cutaway stabilizer. Okay. Please make a list of this on the group. I'm eating, not able to write. Don't worry, Miss Smiles. I will. And you can always watch the replay. Thank you, Wilma. Okay. Lucy, depends on the fabric content. Knit versus woman. And yeah, and this is nothing too. Talk about fabric and stuff. This is a beanie, okay? Winter's coming. People love the beanies and stuff. This was a beanie that I did for myself, okay? Because people be taking stuff, boy. So sometimes you just got to put your name on. So anyway, this is a beanie, and I did it, and I put my name in there, and I did it with knockdown stitches, okay? So, and really cute. So nobody's gonna take this, and I really like the way it even looks inside. It looks pretty cool and stuff. So I have my little hat, has my little name on it. Nobody's gonna take it. So beanies are pretty tricky to embroider, okay, because of the stretch. I find, and I don't know how you guys feel, I feel that the stretchier the material, the trickier it can be to embroider, because as you are embroidering, stretchy material can shift and move. So you really have to make sure that you stabilize this very, very well. Okay. Let me see. I was going to ask, yes, that's what I use, the plastic. Okay. What about your cutaway? Is it thick? Do you double it? Yes, you double it on a logo of polo shirts. What font is that? I remember you used it on the reposition. Maya, it's Mayah, and I got that from Stitchtopia. Stitchtopia. I use this really nice stabilizer for go. Oh my god, I love it. Hey Wilma. Okay, let me see. So Jeanette, what is an underlay? Okay, I believe what Barb is talking about. Barb, let me know. This is an underlay. They call it knockdown stitches. Okay. Your English is fine, Jeanette. Well, sometimes my English can be a little funky, Let me see. Which add-on in Brilliance did you say that you are using? Okay, the add-on of in Brilliance that has the knockdown stitches is called Enthusiast. Yeah, Enthusiast. Okay, that has the knockdown stitches and stuff. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I gotta check out River Mill. Jamie just put that on, 2 of her favorites. I need to check that one. And so I have not been to that site yet. So I'm gonna have to check them out and stuff. Okay. But I'm finding I need to tweak the underlay. Pool Camp brought small fonts depending on the type of fabric. I also do a lot of testing. I also use digitizing software to do this that is not in Brilliance. Yeah, you see, that's why Barb, I like to go to my digitizer, and I like to buy the fonts that are actually small, because I really, to me, it's like I don't have time to be fooling around. I need to pull my products out. So I kind of like it when my customers come to me that I get it done, and I don't like issues. So but I am going to be doing my friend's polo shirts, and I'm hoping that she'll allow me to videotape me doing the shirts, because this is going to be a design She has her logo, her company logo. I'm getting it digitized. So I wanna see if I can videotape the whole process to see how it actually goes. But I actually want to videotape me doing it for the first time, because if I screw up, you guys see what I did and how I screwed up. Because that way, you guys can learn from my mistakes and stuff. Okay. So so true. I bought a lot of designs and I was able to use them. Oh, Wilma, yeah, you're not alone. Oh, Lucy, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that and stuff. Um, can you do a video on how to do this technique? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, Walk by Faith, but you're on our Facebook group, so please post it and then I'll see what I can do. I know I've been really slow on a lot of the videos, guys, and I'm so sorry, but it's just that every time, first of all, you have to be in that video zone, okay? You got to be in that zone, like that mood, like, okay, I'm going to do it. And the thing is, I have been really the sales have really been doing really really well, especially around my neighborhood. Like I said last week. I mean, I was like golf towels crazy. Now I posted the dinner napkins. Everybody wants dinner napkins, so I'm kind of like okay, because sales was a little slow. They did pretty good. I got 15 sales this month, but you know um lately it's been just a little bit slow, but the thing is the sales around the neighborhood has been really really good. So, and when people buy it, I always like to go ahead and create the product and send it out quickly, so because I like to have a reputation of being really responsible and because you don't want issues. I don't like sitting on people's work and stuff. So the videos took kind of like a back burner, unfortunately, but I want to try to get back on it because I actually have fun making those videos and stuff, and stuff. I stitched my last dots large and enlarged them just a smitten. I placed a lock knock at the beginning at the end of the dot in the trim. See, I got to get better, Barb, at that. Hey, Wilma, thank you for the super chat and stuff. Oh, I think I missed, I messed up. Okay. And Jesse's right, Mr. Lewis. Thanks for the super chat too. I appreciate that. You got a new machine. Where have I been? Oh, Miss Fox. Yes. Well, I have gotten the last machine I gotten is the Jujuki TL 2010Q. I got that one. So and I kind of like it, but I ain't gonna lie. It is a lot easier to change feet. The feet from a standard to a zipper foot and everything on my SC 1900. So I sometimes start off on the Jujuki, but then I end up coming right back to my 1900 because I really do like that machine and stuff. So you say sometime I want a machine with a bigger hoop. Yeah, I know the feel. That's why I went to the multi-needle. I just learned that to support. Okay. Yes, I will drop a pic in the Facebook group when I'm done. I'm using the 1900. Yes, please do. Because I would love to see. Because I love seeing people do this stuff. I got a Brother NQ36D. It has a 6x10 hoop, and the rest is like the SC19 plus it cuts jump stitches. Love it. And I have seen that machine, Karen, on Amazon. I was looking at it with my sister, and I believe the price was about like $4,000, something like that, or 3,000, something like that. It was in that area, and I was kind of like, oh, I was telling Nancy, if you could swing it, you may want to get that one. Because I always say try to get, I think the rule of thumb is try to get the biggest hoop you can get and the more needle you can get, but some people don't want a multi-needle machine. Some people are very happy with a single needle, machine. So, but yeah, I didn't know that could cut jump stitches, Karen. So I'm going to tell Nancy, you may want to look at that one if she can swing it, and stuff. Birthdays next month. Miss Miles is gonna have a birthday. You go, girl. What tips can you give to thicken the fonts? Okay, Jimmy, what I had just did when Barb was talking about, increase the comp of the stitch. Okay, if you have this in Brilliance Essentials, you can do that and stuff. And I had just did that. So that's how you can thicken it. Okay. Um, with Enthusiast, you can take a picture, make an embroidery from it. Oh, okay. See, have not used all the functions of Enthusiast. I really have to get a little more savvy on it. But I just like to embroider. I'm just not a digitizer kind of person. Okay, so it's like, but I do have to get that in there. Hey, Jamie. Oh, her birthday is yesterday. Happy birthday. So my daughter-in-law's yesterday. Jamie can come, and you need to look at the basic underlay contour and run edge. Looking at that yesterday. Everybody's looking at the 3600 and stuff. Yeah, they have it on Amazon, and I was just like, oh, okay. So let's see, Stitch Artist. Okay, Stitch Artist, Barb, is the is where you can do digitizing in Brilliance. I have bought Stitch Artist 1 and 2 and 3 because my husband was looking at it, but I think, you know, he just had a hard time digitizing. So I think because he wanted to take a dragon being wrapped around a cognac glass and stuff for his cigar club. But I think we're gonna have to have a digitizer do that because it looked a little too complicated and stuff and everything. So, hey Robin, hey Cheryl, how you doing? Hey Harmony, how are you? Um, let me see. I have in Brilliance Enthusiast. I work mostly with Hatch, and you know, Bart, I heard Hatch is really, really good. But it's a Windows base. That's the thing. You know, so I wish they had Hatch for Mac, but I just don't want to put Windows on my Mac and stuff. Let's see. Lock it and remove the stitches. Thanks, Barb. I also have Hatch. Maybe I should buy a Windows machine because everybody's had you know, Hatch, and I've heard of Sew What Pro. I think the baby's booty, she watches Sew What Pro also. I mean, she uses that one, and she talks really highly about that one too. So, you know, maybe I should just go ahead and just buy a cheap machine and with Windows on it, just so I could use that software and stuff, because everybody really seems to be in it, and I could be missing out on something here, you know, and stuff. Let's see. Hey, Esther, how are you? How do you put your fonts in Brilliance? Okay, Esther, when you buy the BX fonts, okay, you would just drag and drop it. So if you go to the YouTube channel, if you go to this channel, right, do a search on BX fonts. I already have a video that shows you exactly step by step how to drag and drop it into Brilliance, so that way you can type it up, okay? So there is a video in there. That's pretty, Jeanette. I would put that in the shop. Really? You thought that was this one? Yeah, I don't know. It kind of looked wild to me. So I was kind of like, I don't think anyone's, you know what? I'll do that. I'll put that in. But like I said, sometimes what you don't like, somebody loves. So you never know. I mean, it does have like a classy kind of like, you know, like rawr, you know, like royalty kind of look, I guess. I don't know. Like, you know. But you know what it is? Because it looks like like a lion head, you know, like the lion fur. That's why I was kind of like, wow. But yeah, all right, I'll put it on. I'll put it on, Harmony. You never know, right? That would be a trip if it ended up being a bestseller, right? Let me see. Do you put anything in the back of the napkin? Yes, I do. What I do, Karen, is I use Tender Touch, okay? And I put Tender Touch on the back of the napkin to cover it. So that way, you know, it's not just exposed like this. So I just put it on. But when I put the Tender Touch on, I actually use you know, I use a heat press. I have a heat press, and I like the heat press because a heat press actually uses pressure and it evens out the heat. So when I'm putting on the tender touch, I know it's really like really stuck in there pretty good and stuff. So tear away because the fabric is so thin. Um, yep. Let's see. Let's see. Ooh, oops. Okay. How do you? Okay, I got that. Let me see. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Um, can you give us tips on how to increase Etsy sales? Yeah, I could do a video on that, on how I increase it. A lot of it has to do I think, with social media, and I'm not that great on that. One of the things that I do is it's the way you have your listing. You got to make sure you have the right tags, that you have it in the right category and stuff like that. But I'll do a video on that. I can do that. On making patches to iron on products. I can do that too. I can do one on patches and stuff. I gotta find time though. It's like, okay. Oh, my son came, eat some rice and beans that I made for him. Not to go. Good night, ladies. Have a blessed weekend. Bye, Wilma. Enjoy your time with your son. Thanks for showing me that. Oh, Sherry, anytime. Anytime. And stuff. Yeah, I just don't want don't waste your money. Well, it's not that you wasted your money, because that is a nice font. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that's something you can apply to all the fonts. Okay. You can always take every individual letter and just change the color. Because I've done it. I've done it and it comes out nice. Can you tell me? I've been taking digitizing classes. My goal is to have a very nice small font. Can you? Yeah, I could tell that you've been taking. I registered for a class with John Deere, Digitizing 101. Nice guy, very knowledgeable. He knows his stuff, but his voice is so soft that I sometimes lose my attention span. So it's kind of like I'm like, okay. But I have to get with it. And Barb, that is something that a good embroiderer, if anything, at the very least, you should at least know the basics of digitizing, so that you know that you got good solid files and stuff like that. And sometimes you have to make little tweaks, so that way you can make sure that your quality, the stitches of your quality is very, very good. Let's see what else we got here. Hatch is amazing. See, I might be missing out. Everybody likes a napkin design. How do I pin hats in the hoop? I just have the hardest time. I have the hat hoop as well. Okay, pinning I guess if you watch Jamie, I have a video on how I use the hat hoop on the SC1900. That will show you step by step how I do it. I don't know if you're talking about pinning or flattening it down. That is kind of difficult to do, especially when you're working on structured hats, because structured hats have that hard thing. And the thing with structured hats is you have to be really careful when you're laying it down on a flatbed machine, because you don't want to really fold the structure of it. You want it so that when you're done embroidering, you can pop the inside of that hat and it forms a shape really nicely again. Okay. For extra stability, I have a structured hat that I need to get done. Okay. Oh, do you mean to keep it down? I guess you're saying when you're embroidering. When I embroider my hats and I hold it down, I use sticky stabilizer. Sticky stabilizer helps a lot, okay, because I get to really flatten it. But a lot of times I do keep my hand kind of in there. Oh, that's it. Okay, so I got it. So keep it down. Sticky stabilizer is gonna be your friend, okay? But the thing is, because the hats are so hard, it's not going to be a project where you can put it in and you can walk away. There's going to be times when you're going to have to put your hands in there and help the hat stay flat for it to stitch. Okay? Oh God. Sorry, that's my son. Sorry about that. That's my son. I'm going to have to call you back. Are you okay?
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
I love you.
All right, I love you too. You okay?
What time was I born? What time was I born? Really quick.
What time you were born?
Yeah.
You were born at 1 a.m. in the morning, and I tried really hard to push you out, so you were born on the 12th, but you wouldn't want to come out, so you were born at 1 a.m. on September 13th.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Love you. Good
luck. Love you too. Bye. Okay, I don't know why he's asking me what time he was born, but that is true. I tried pushing him out before midnight because I was like, I could just see it now. Friday 13th birthday parties, but he didn't want to come out. So he came out at 1 a.m. So anyway, sorry about that, guys. So anyway, at least my son called. I have to admit, I love it when he calls me. So that's my boob. He's at BCU. Future doctor. Yay. Okay, so anyway. Let me see. So I hope that helps, Jamie. It's just you're not going to be able to walk away. It's not like when you're hooping a hat. On a multi-needle machine is different because they have a hat driver and a hat hoop. And you actually, after you hoop the hat and you put it on the machine, you can walk away, but because it's kind of like in its own little, there's an arm. Okay, there's an arm that comes out, so it kind of like goes around and stuff like that. On a flatbed, it doesn't matter what kind of an expensive flatbed you have. That's just not going to, you got to hold it. You're just going to have to hold it. It's one of those projects that you're going to have to babysit and stuff. So, oops, I just noticed I took my beats off and never closed YouTube. Oh boy, getting old. You'll be all right. I have 80-20 needles. Is that okay to use on the structured hats? I've used the 75. I've used the 75-11 on the structured hats. Now, one thing that you should use on structured hats, Jamie, is the sharp point, not the ball point. Okay, because structured hat is harder material. All right, so you're going to want sharp needles. All right, so I use the 75-11 sharp needles. So, if you've been using those needles, take a look at the stitches, though. Make sure that it's good quality stitches that the hat is. But it wouldn't hurt if you were to go ahead and get 75-11 sharp needles and embroider a hat using those needles. It'd be pretty interesting to see if you can do a comparison onto how did your design come out in an 80-12 versus a 75-11, especially a sharp. So I don't know if the 80-12 needles that you have are sharp or ballpoint, but that would help. I did do some research and the 80-12 was recommended. Then you know what? If that's what they say, do it. I know I've used 75-11, but now I'm thinking now I want to buy 80-12 and see how it works, because maybe it would be a better quality. So don't worry, you're on a roll. You're doing good. You got it and stuff. So guys, oh my God, again, I went over. Last week I went over, and look, it's like close to 10, which is probably why my son called and stuff. So because he sometimes calls me and stuff, and he knows that Embroidery Happy Hour is at 8, supposed to end at 9. So he's poor little guy, he probably thought I was done talking and stuff. So I want to call him back, make sure he's okay and stuff like that, because I always worry and everything. It doesn't matter how old they get, they're always gonna be your babies. So anyway, so guys, oh yeah, Harmony answered. Harmony is very good on the hats, Jamie. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of her hats. They're like to die for. Okay, so she's saying you can use both and stuff. So guys, I am going to say good night for this evening. Thank you so much for all the super chats. I really, really appreciate it. I hope that the information that I gave you guys was very helpful. As always, please feel free to reach out. I do try to check my emails and stuff on a regular basis. Sometimes, you know, I'm off by a day or two, but I always try to, and I always try to reply as much as I possibly can. If you need any help, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, and I hope you like it and give me a likes. And please, if you're not part of our Facebook group, which is Embroidery Happy Hour Adventures, join our Facebook group. And don't forget, we still have our gift exchange. The gift exchange ends on the 17th. So after the 17th, I do the draw, and then everybody's going to start making stuff for somebody. Okay. So I hope you guys can join the gift exchange. It should be a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, you guys have a great evening. Please take care, enjoy, and happy sewing and happy embroidering. Bye.